We believe the shooting was committed by a single suspect who is now in custody. Prior to the shooting, the suspect was observed pacing back and forth outside of the museum and opened fire, striking both of our decedents.
This is the footage of Free Palestine shooter being arrested.
No. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Good evening. I'm Muriel Bowser. I'm Mayor of Washington, D.C. I am here with the Chief of the Metropolitan Police Department, Pamela Smith, and we are joined by members of the Washington, D.C. Public Safety Team and our partners in the federal government, from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Special Agent in charge, as well as the Assistant Director in charge. We are also joined by the Attorney General for the United States, Pam Bondi, the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia, Judge Pirro, as well as the Israeli Ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Leichter. We are here at the MPD headquarters to provide an update on a horrific shooting that happened shortly after 9 p.m. this evening near the Capitol Jewish Museum. I want to start by sending our condolences to the loved ones of the victims who were senselessly a victim of these crimes. I want to provide my prayers and condolences to the museum staff and the guests who are also gathering together in fellowship. The Chief will share preliminary information from the investigation. I will say up front that there is no active threat in our community. What I do know is that the horrific incident is going to frighten a lot of people in our city and in our country. And I want to be clear that we will not tolerate this violence or hate in our city. We will not tolerate any acts of terrorism, and we're going to stand together as a community in the coming days and weeks to send the clear message that we will not tolerate anti-Semitism. I want to ask Chief Smith to talk about where we are with this investigation, followed by our FBI partners, and lastly, Ambassador Leichter.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm Chief Pamela A. Smith, Chief of Police for the Metropolitan Police Department, and I'll start by expressing my sincere condolences to both of the victims and the families, and also the attendees tonight at the Capitol Jewish Museum. At approximately 9:08 p.m. tonight, we received multiple calls for a shooting in the area of 3rd Street and F Street Northwest. Officers located one adult male and one adult female unconscious and not breathing at the scene. DC Fire and EMS responded, and despite all life-saving efforts, both victims succumbed to their injuries. The preliminary investigation indicates that both victims were exiting an event at the Capitol Jewish Museum located in the 500 block of 3rd Street Northwest when the shooting occurred. We believe the shooting was committed by a single suspect who is now in custody. Prior to the shooting, the suspect was observed pacing back and forth outside of the museum. He approached a group of 4 people, produced a handgun, and opened fire, striking both of our decedents. After the shooting, the suspect then entered the museum and was detained by event security. Once in handcuffs, the suspect identified where he discarded the weapon, and that weapon has been recovered, and he implied that he committed the offense. The suspect chanted, "Free, free Palestine," while in custody. Wow. The suspect has been tentatively identified as 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago, Illinois. Our MPD case detectives are leading this investigation. I will now turn it over to Washington Field Office Associate Director Steve Jensen.
Thank you, Chief. I'm Steve Jensen, the Assistant Director in charge of the Washington Field Office. I'd also like to express my sincere condolences not only to the family of the victims, but to the ambassador and the grievance for the Israeli nation. Tonight, a heinous crime was committed, and the FBI stands with the Metropolitan Police Department to help not only investigate the homicide and provide support, but also to look into ties to potential terrorism or motivation based on a bias-based crime or a hate crime. That's our reason for being here. Full support of the FBI to Metropolitan Police Department to resolve this. And I also want to express my sincere gratitude to Metropolitan Police Department for their quick action, their attempts to render aid despite the nature of the crime resulting in the death of the victims. Getting the subject in custody quickly resolved this issue and allows us to continue with the investigation. And with that, I'll turn it over to the ambassador.
Wait, no sound here. You guys are. It's just in one headphones.
Thank you.
So guys,
Really what I have to say this evening is thank you.
So make sure.
Mayor, to your amazing staff, Attorney General, Ms. Bondi, Chief Attorney for Washington, Judge Janine Pirro. The couple that was gunned down tonight in the name of Free Palestine. It's a young couple about to be engaged.
Oh, wow.
The young man purchased a ring this week with the intention of proposing to his girlfriend next week in Jerusalem. They were a beautiful couple who came to enjoy an evening in Washington's Cultural Center. I will say this: we are a resilient people. The people of Israel are resilient people, and the people of the United States of America are resilient people. Together we won't be afraid, together we'll stand, and we're going to overcome moral depravity of people who think that they're going to achieve political gains through murder. On the way in, Ms. Bondi was kind enough to hand me the phone. On the other line was the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who told me that his administration is going to do everything it can possibly do to fight and end anti-Semitism and the hatred that's being directed, the demonization and delegitimization of the State of Israel. Together with President Trump, our Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, will stand together tall and firm, and we will confront this moral depravity without fear and with determination. And now we'll turn to taking care of the families of these two victims. And again,
The sound is just in one ear, by the way. That's just a video we're
the American
watching.
administration, the city of Washington, and the law enforcement officers who are on this case are going to get to the bottom of it and bring justice to this city and to the people of Washington, the United States, and the people of Israel who are here feeling confident and safe in the city of Washington and around the United States of America. Thank you.
You can take a few questions, Chief.
Hi, Shamari Stone from Fox 5 DC. You say that there is a suspect in custody right now, and he walked into the museum. What is he telling investigators tonight?
Well, I don't know what he's telling them at this moment. What I do know is that he is in custody. And as you know, Amari, we have to conduct an investigation, and that requires us to ask many questions. At the time of this press conference, I'm not privileged to that information as of right now.
Hi, Evan Paris for CNN. Is there any indication when he entered the Jewish Museum that he was planning to carry out additional shootings? Was he trying to harm other people? Is there any indication? Can you tell us any more about that? And also for the Attorney General and the U.S. Attorney, can you say whether, given the diplomatic component of this, does this become a federal investigation, a federal crime to be prosecuted by the federal government?
So in response to your first question, we are still conducting the investigation. And at this moment, again, it's preliminary. So you'll have to give us a little bit more time to determine what the motives were at this point.
Let me just jump in, Chief. And you heard from the chief and from the special agent in charge that MPD is investigating the homicides and the FBI's role. Of course, as always, when there is any possibility of a terrorist act or acts motivated by hate or other bias, the FBI will be conducting those investigations. All homicides are prosecuted in the District of Columbia in Washington, D.C. by the United States Attorney for the District of Columbia. Okay.
Carl Willis, 7 News. Just a question about, after everything that happened, the stance from local and possibly federal law enforcement about any protection moving forward or heightened security for this community.
Thank you for that question. And I'm going to turn to the chief, but we have a long history and a lot of practice in our city of working with Jewish organizations around safety and around protection. And we watch global events, national events, and local events. And our organizations work directly with MPD, and MPD responds with additional resources. And so I know the chief will spend tonight and tomorrow, and we'll be talking to all of our organizations, from schools to synagogues to other organizations, to make sure we are supporting in every way that we can. Yes.
You mentioned that the suspect was detained by event security after entering the museum.
Yep.
Is it correct to say that he surrendered voluntarily to security, or was he forcefully detained?
I don't know that we can say that right now. It's part of what MPD is investigating. Yes.
Hi, Shlomi Zion's Ami Magazine. I have a question for the police chief. I want to know if there was perhaps any indication that something like this might happen. Was there any heightened security or threats that you were aware of? And also for the Attorney General, do you have a message for Jewish Americans who are feeling concerned for their safety tonight?
What I will say to your first question is that we have not received any intelligence with respect to any type of terrorist act or hate crime in our city. As you know, we work very well with all of our partners in the intelligence community, and had we received any information, as we would do any time, we would ensure that we had heightened security around our city at most of our synagogues.
If I could just add, and then General, we have, for a number of years, we put out grants to organizations, and we allow organizations to apply for grants, and there have been a lot of faith organizations that have applied for special security grants.
Actually,
and so we continue.
Missy, you just asked the name. Actually, see if we can find. So, again, it is from Twitter, so let's take everything with a grain of salt. But Elias Rodriguez of Chicago, Illinois, has been identified as the shooter. While in custody, he chanted "Free Palestine" 3 times. On top of it, it seems he was chanting that before, and he was protesting at the event. So there was an event where the Israeli embassy staff went, and then after the event, they were leaving. That's when the shooting took place. So let's see what he says. Oh, what is this? This is
who will be prosecuting this case. Will be doing everything in our power to keep all citizens safe, especially tonight our Jewish community. Our prayers go out. We have the FBI. All of our federal agencies will work hand in hand with you, Chief, as we have done, and you, Mayor, to do everything we can to keep our citizens safe. We will follow the facts. We will follow the law. And this defendant, if charged, will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Last 2. 1, 2. Yes.
Hi, I'm Michael Koziel, the Sydney Morning Herald. Just on the man in custody, could you confirm the spelling of his name? You said that he was from Chicago. Do we know if he travelled to DC with the intention of, committing this act? And just finally, did he say anything else while in police custody other than free Palestine?
So the correct spelling of his first name is E as in Echo, L as in Lima, I as in India, A as in Apple, S as in Sierra. Last name Rodriguez, Romeo, Oscar, Delta, Romeo, India, Golf, Uniform, Echo, Zulu. And as I've stated before, the case is still under investigation, and that will be determined with regards to if he said any other statements while in custody. We're uncertain at this time.
How old is Mr. Rodriguez?
30 years old. Or 31.
Beatrice Peterson, ABC News. I was wondering, is this individual known to police? Have you had any prior interactions with him?
We have not had any prior interactions with him based on an NCIC check. We don't see anything in his background that would have placed him on our radar at this time. But again, our Joint Terrorism Task Force is working very closely with the FBI to ensure that we can do a deep dive into his background.
Shamari Stone, Fox 5, real quick question. You said that he was pacing back and forth in front of the building prior to this incident. Did security engage with the suspect prior to the shooting? Did he look suspicious? Did they see him outside?
I am not sure about that at this time. That's a part of the investigation.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there any indication that the firearm that was used in the crime was purchased illegally, legally obtained? Was there a serial number, or was it filed off? Do we know any details right now?
Our ATF partners will do a deep dive with respect to the firearms, as they typically would with any firearms here in the District of Columbia.
There's a shooting near an FBI headquarters, I think, in Washington, D.C., and as if that wasn't bad enough, I think two Israeli diplomats, so they have diplomatic protection, I guess, were the target of the shooting, and it seems at least one of them has passed away because of it. So I'm learning about the news as you guys see it on your screen. I just wanted to go live. If you're in the chat, yo, what's up? Okay, I see the chat. That's perfect. Let me know where you guys are joining in from. But yeah, big news, shooting near the FBI headquarters, and it just happened 20 minutes ago. Yeah, it is insane. Insane headline. Just happened 20 minutes ago. Let's see what we can find. Here's a little bit. Fatal shooting that took place outside the event that took place at the Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C., in which Israeli embassy employees were also injured, is a depraved act of anti-Semitism terrorism. Okay, I want to see what exactly happened. So some people are saying a diplomat was killed, or two Israeli embassy staff. I don't know if you guys know this. I don't know this. Is every Israeli embassy or every embassy staff considered a diplomat or no? Watching from Texas. Hey, what's up, Soup? Los Angeles, Germany. Wow. I think Joshua in Germany is like really late or really early, I guess. Yeah, crazy you joined from Germany. But yeah, hit the like button if you haven't already. I'll give you guys more information as I learn more. Two people connected to Israeli embassy in Washington were shot tonight. Gabe Cohen News reports that two were killed. At least one is connected to the embassy. Israeli ambassador was not there. Embassy is working with the law enforcement. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Do you guys know if every person at the embassy is yeah, I heard the Trump dropping the N-word, the nuke word in the interview. Do you guys know if every person of the embassy is considered a diplomat or no? There's no sign. This is just a camera pointed at where the cops are. So another thing that was important, AG Palm Bandy is already on the scene, which is kind of surprising. Oh, you looked it up, Sebastian? Thank you. So not all employees are considered diplomats. So some people are saying a diplomat was killed. Some people are saying it was just embassy workers. Some people are saying, okay, this is Barack Ravid is a little bit more trustworthy. So let's look at it. Tal Naim Cohen, the spokeswoman for Israeli embassy in Washington. Two staff members of the Israeli embassy were shot this evening at close range while attending a Jewish event at the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. We have full faith in law enforcement authorities on both local and federal levels to apprehend the shooter and protect Israel's representatives, Jewish communities throughout the United States. Yeah, things are, I don't know if you guys saw, did you guys see, what's his name? Theo Vaughn put out a video. He recently started talking about geopolitics. Of course, he is a comedian, but he was just talking about how he feels, how long this war has been going on. Yeah, it is sad. Lives are lost, 100%. Let me see if I can find anything more. Yeah, so as I said, Pam Bondi, the AG, is on the scene. I'm on the scene of the horrible shooting outside Washington, D.C., praying for the victim of this violence. And I don't know if this is a common thing. For me, this is one of the reasons why I went live, is diplomats dying in other countries is definitely a big deal, right? Jesse, I don't think it has to do with Netanyahu. I'm sure maybe it does have to do with Netanyahu. Probably someone who's not happy with the Gaza war is probably doing it. Theo speaks for all of us who feel helpless towards Gaza. Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the Theo thing. So I read this, and at least I think it's like an international event if a diplomat dies, especially if it's like murder, because that's what this is. And I don't know if this is true. I haven't seen a lot of people confirm. Some people have said that the shooter yelled something that was anti-Semitic, but here he claims that shooter screamed "Free Palestine" before assassinating. Again, no clue if this is true or not. Fox News already has a story on the app. Nice. I gotta get that app. Oh, just a quick break since we do have a good amount of people here. Let me run you down this story. So just recently, one of our second channel was deleted. Now, YouTube is not telling us why it was deleted, and they're just saying it's against the community guidelines. But the problem is YouTube has this policy that if one channel is deleted, they'll delete every single channel. So this is why, like, this has happened to us 3 times or 4 times in the last 12 months. And every time we talk to YouTube, nothing works. Only thing that works is going on Twitter and like making a fuss about it, which is a little disappointing, but sadly that's the reality. So we made a post on Twitter. If you guys can just do me a favor, go retweet this post and tag Team YouTube. That's all we need. That's it. I'll put the link in the chat. But someone just asked, you don't see it on any major news channels? Nintendo, that's because this literally just happened 20 minutes ago. So it hasn't been that long, that's why. But let me see if I can pull up the Theo video, because a lot of people were not happy about it. A lot of people. I don't like how, and this is people do this with us too, where if they don't like what we say on the channel, they just assume that we are getting paid by someone. So a lot of people did not like what Theo said, and they just started blaming him that he's getting paid by someone, which is just not true, because like people can have disagreeing view. Do we know who else was killed? So Fox, only thing we know is at least one Israeli employee was involved. So when I say involved, he was the victim. We don't know if he was a diplomat or not, because official accounts are saying it was an Israeli embassy staff. Now, as some of you guys pointed out, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a diplomat. It could be a diplomat. We're just waiting on more information. Let's see what happens. So did he say something? Because I think this is one of like a trustworthy account. No, nothing yet. Not really much news. Where is news? Okay, what is this? Breaking news, 2 people injured in the shooting at Jewish museum. 1 injured is it? Okay, so at least from one of the trusted accounts, it says one of the person who's injured is the Israeli embassy staff. We'll recap in just a second. Let me find more information. In the meantime, someone was talking about Theo. Let me get your guys' thought. What do you guys think of what he just put out? Because clearly, again, Theo, one of the most popular person in the United States, at least, probably in the world, and one of the biggest podcaster. And this is what he said about the war going on. And as you guys know, we are a geopolitics channel, so let's talk about this.
You know, I wanted to say something. There's been something that's just been kind of on my heart, and so I feel like I should bring it up. There is, you know, we've had people on the podcast in the past to talk about it. And there's a conflict that's been happening in the Middle East. People know about it, between Israel and Palestine and some of the areas over there, the Gaza area they talk about. And I just think it feels to me, I don't know if it feels.
No, I don't think Hassan was the shooter, not Miku.
To me like it's a genocide that's happening while we're alive here in front of our lives. And I don't, sometimes I feel like I should say something. I'm not a geologist or geographer or anything like that, you know, so I don't know a lot of some of it I do know though. Like I know the basics of the issues over there, but for me it's just like how I feel like you see.
But this is insane, right? Just to pause this real quick. Oh yeah, so someone just asked if our channel does get deleted. That's the thing, we don't know. Our channel could be deleted. Okay, let me finish the video, then I'll talk about it.
All these photos of people, just children, women, people, body parts, just people like putting their kids back together. And I just can't believe that we're watching that and that more isn't said about it. And so I'm not saying anyone else needs to say anything, but I think I'm just that more isn't said about it by me. So I just, I want to be able to speak up about that I think we're watching probably like, you know, one of the sickest things that's ever happened. And I'm sorry if I've kind of haven't said about it. I've tried to talk about it and learn about it. But I don't know. Maybe I just wanted to say something. I don't even know what to do. You know, and it's crazy because our country's also complicit in it. You know, it's in it and has been for a long time. And it's just kind of interesting because then you just realize, oh, well, I'm a member of this country, but I'm just, what we want sometimes doesn't matter, you know, and you just have to be a member of a place and your government is making other choices. So I don't know if I said that correctly, or I don't even know exactly what I said, but I just have, it's just like been making me really sick. And I feel like I just needed to say something that I think. You don't have to think that. I'm not asking you to do anything. But I just have to say that so I'm not sitting by, you know, there's that piece inside of me like, why can't you say something? You know, there's people that can't even speak and you can say something, you know, and so that's how I just had to just speak up. Anyway, yeah. So just praying for those people and just the grief that is all going to cause.
But, you know, one thing I get, again, he doesn't follow the war probably as closely as most of us. He's not involved in geopolitics as much. And one thing that I didn't like with this whole situation is everyone just started coming after him. And that's not how you usually, like, get people to change your mind. Like, this is just personally speaking. Like, if I disagree with someone, and instead of, like, just talking with me when we have a disagreement, someone just starts attacking you, saying, hey, you're a dumbass, you're wrong, you're probably getting paid. That makes you, like, more towards the side that you're on. Like, that doesn't open up your mind to think about, like, oh, maybe I am wrong here. So that's what a lot of people started doing. They just started attacking him, saying he took money from Qatar, and that's why he's saying all this. Which I highly doubt that's the case. Like, if you don't agree with what he's saying, I think there's a better way to go about it than just attack him and just say, hey, you're probably just bought off by Qatar, which is a lot of people who are doing this. But again, coming back to this story, because I just saw something that was kind of crazy. So video obtained by JI, which I don't know what JI is, shows an individual roughly matching reported descriptions of the suspect in the lobby of the museum charged chanting "Free, Free Palestine," being detained by police and removed from the building. So someone who was chanting it was arrested. Now, we don't know if this is the person who did do the shooting, but the Washington, D.C. Police Department is about to do, hopefully you guys see it, they're about to do a press conference, so hopefully we'll hear that live, whatever information they have. So let's see what happens here. Oh, FBI Director Kash Patel is there too, because again, this did happen in Washington, D.C., so a lot of the high-level people are like very close by. That's why Pam Bondi got there like 10 minutes, within 10 minutes it happened. Is it starting? Not yet. I have my thing open if it starts. So Gao, I could be wrong on this, because last time I was streaming, we did talk about the plane Trump is taking from Qatar, but based on my knowledge, the Department of Defense is going to take the plane, and then it's going to stay with the Department of Defense even after Trump like goes out of office until we get the new plane, which again, we're expected to get that in 2017 or 2027, 2028. So when we get the new plane, it goes to Trump's museum. I still don't think he should have taken it, but it's definitely not as big of a deal as it makes it out to be. I could be wrong. But where did else did I see? People are coming to the scene. I'm out of Austin, Texas. I'm not shocked at all. What does that mean? Point you?
At the noise of the stamping of the hooves of his strong, at the rushing of his chariot, the rumbling of his wheels, the fathers shall not look back to children for feebleness of hand.
Oh, we got a video. Let me pull that up. Guess what? It is Al Jazeera. So.
Breaking news, we're getting out of Washington, D.C. now. U.S. media is reporting there's been a shooting outside the Capitol Jewish Museum. At least 2 people have been killed, according to reports. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations says employees of the Israeli embassy are among those shot and injured. We will bring you more information as soon as we get it to hand. We're joined on the phone now by Heidi Jo Castro, who is in Washington, D.C. And Heidi, I know details will be scarce, but what more are you able to tell us right now?
Right. The reports are that the victims are a man and a woman, and one of them is reportedly deceased, another in critical condition. Now, they were shot in front of the Capitol Jewish Museum, which is right in the middle of Washington, D.C., next to an FBI field office, and in fact has only been in operation for about 2 years. These victims were reported to have been perhaps attending an event being hosted at this museum.
Quick pause. It was confirmed that both people killed were the embassy staff. So both people who died were from Israeli embassy. We don't know if it's Diplomat, but as we get more information, we'll share it.
And now there's also reports that the victims may be connected to a foreign embassy diplomatic staff, and that one, again, this is unconfirmed, and the identities of the victims have not been released by authorities, but reports are that they could be tied to Israel's embassy. Again, unconfirmed information at this point, as this is just breaking news happening as we speak. The FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force is responding now to the shooting. We don't have any word on who the shooter was, whether they're still at large. But again, this is seriously, certainly.
No, I doubt this was spies. So the information so far we have is there was some event at the Jewish Museum, whatever that was, and there were protesters right outside there chanting Free Palestine. And I'm guessing after the event, shooting took place, and someone has said allegedly that one of the people protesting outside was just put in handcuffs. We don't exactly know if that's true. We don't exactly know if he was involved in shooting, but that's the news on Twitter at least.
Concerning people, given that anti-Semitism has been on the rise in the U.S., the Anti-Defamation League noting that there's been a 300% rise in incidents over the last 5 years, but namely the shooting of Jewish people hasn't been the headliners. It's been more vandalism, assault, that kind of thing. And so if it is confirmed that the victims were Jewish and that they may have been targeted because of that, then certainly that adds a darker layer to this incident.
Yeah, Heidi, like you say, a darker layer. Once we get more information, and if it is in fact confirmed that the victims are from Israel's embassy in DC, if that is,
it just got confirmed 3 minutes ago. Jerusalem Post, again, not a U.S. publication, if I'm correct. Jerusalem Post, they confirmed 3 minutes ago, roughly, that both people were from the embassy staff, not necessarily Diplomat.
The case, what could potentially be the wider ramifications here? I mean, obviously there have been many claims of anti-Semitism. This is likely to fuel that potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. We, of course, know that Donald Trump has been targeting what he calls anti-Semitism on campuses, on university campuses around the U.S. There's certainly been more focus. The Jewish American community, some members, of course, oppose the war in Gaza, but there's also been many who have said that they do feel targeted, that they...
Israeli embassy just confirmed that both members were from their staff. So I would say that's the final confirmation. We don't need anything from anyone if the embassy is confirming itself.
Feel more threatened since the war started. And it's interesting, if you look at this synagogue, this museum, which has a synagogue in it, in which this shooting...
What are you talking about, Big Sky? Did you see, are you talking about the post we put up on X?
Took place right outside of the Capital Jewish Museum, in fact, had just been noting that they were fearful of their security, and they had just been granted, in fact, some more money from the D.C. local government to beef up their security. Again, we don't know if this shooting happened inside. Reports are actually that these two individuals, these victims, were shot outside, perhaps leaving an event that was being hosted at the museum. And again, we're still working to confirm the identities of these victims and how and if they are at all related to the Israeli diplomatic staff, as some reports claim.
Thank you so much, Heidi. We no doubt will speak to you a little later.
So let me just update you guys on more information we have. We already looked at Kash Patel. I think he's involved. Some FBI anti-terrorism task force is going to the location. And what else do we have? Someone's claiming, I don't know who this is, but video has been obtained by Jerusalem Independence. I think that's what JI is, which shows that police has arrested someone who was chanting "Free, Free Palestine" outside the building during the event. Now, the shooting did happen after the event. Israeli embassy confirmed that the two people who were shot, they went to some event at the Jewish Museum or Capital Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. And after the event, it's likely that they were going home or something. That's when the shooting happened. And let me see if I have, yeah, we have something else we can watch.
Now to some breaking news we are following tonight, and it is a big story developing out
by
of
the
Washington,
way,
D.C.
If you guys haven't hit the like button, be sure to hit it. We also have a subscriber counter right above my head. We're trying to get to 2 million subscribers, so if you haven't subscribed. Okay, someone in here is, never mind, I think they're joking. I thought someone in the chat was sharing. We're also waiting on the DC police to do a press conference, so hopefully we'll catch that. I have a little bit of audio on, so we'll hear it when it starts.
A shooting outside of the Jewish Museum near several other high-profile locations, including an FBI office. At least one of the victims is believed to have ties to the Israeli embassy.
Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger here with the breaking news tonight. Josh.
Well, Mike and Shadi, this is rapidly developing. It is unfolding as we speak, and more information coming out. Many questions about what happened tonight. But here is what ABC News is reporting right now. Law enforcement sources say at least 2 people were shot outside of an event at the Capital Jewish Museum. This is just a few blocks away from the U.S. Capitol.
Let's watch a little bit.
ABC is reporting at least one of the people shot is believed to be a member of the Israeli embassy staff. Right now, we understand one person may be dead. A second person has been rushed to the hospital, and a person of interest being questioned by police. It's a very large police scene right now. I can tell you Attorney General Pam Bondi, newly appointed U.S. Attorney in D.C., Jeanine Pirro, both appeared on scene personally. All of this happening, as I said, by the Jewish Museum, also very close to an FBI field office and not far from the D.C. police headquarters. I also can tell you that we have a tweet from the Israeli ambassador to the UN just now. The fatal shooting that took place was a depraved act of anti-Semitic terrorism, he said. Harming diplomats and the Jewish community is crossing around.
Okay, so that's the ambassador saying that diplomat was harmed. I don't know too much, but I feel like that's an international event if something like that happens.
Headline, we are confident U.S. authorities will take a strong action against those responsible for this criminal act. We can now say that 2 people have been confirmed dead in this shooting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who did it? We're not entirely clear. What the motive was, we're not entirely clear. But this is going to continue to develop over the next,
Oh, I'm from Texas, Point Jew. I think what you're talking about, I forgot what was the name. It was some kind of like Epic City or something it was named. It was like a Islamic town, but Greg Abbott has stopped it. So I don't think it's happening.
Half hour, overnight. We'll have much more as it comes in, guys.
So Nancy, I think Israeli embassy confirmed that the 2 people are their staff. Now, some places we have seen that they could be diplomat. We don't have a full-on confirmation yet, but let's see. Hopefully, let's see. I don't know what to say, honestly. Could be staff, could not be staff. We have no clue. Well, could be
Go to Fox
diplomat,
5.
could not be diplomat.